This is what happened during the time of Xerxes. The Xerxes who ruled over the 127 provinces stretching from India to Kush. At the time, King Xerxes resigned from his royal throne in the citadel of Susa, and in the 3rd year of his reign, he gave a banquet for all his nobles and officials. The military leaders of Persia and Media, the princes, and the nobles of the provinces were present.
For a full 180 days, he displayed the vast wealth of his kingdom and splendor and glory of his majesty. When these days were over, the king gave a banquet lasting 7 days in the enclosed gardens of the king's palace for all the people, from the least to the greatest, who were in the citadel of Susa. The garden had hangings of white and blue linen fastened to cords of white linen and purple material to silver rings on marble pillars. There was couches of gold and silver on a mosaic pavement of porphyry, marble, and mother of pearl, and other costly stones. Wine was served in goblets of gold, each one different from the other, and the royal wine was abundant, in keeping with the king's liberality. By the king's commanding, each guest was allowed to drink with no restrictions. The king instructed all the wine stewards to serve each man what he wished.
Queen Vashti also gave a banquet for the women in the royal palace of King Xerxes. On the 7th day, when King Xerxes was in high spirits from wine, he commanded the 7 servants who served him to bring before him Queen Vashti wearing her royal crown, in order to display her beauty to the people and nobles, for she was lovely to look at. But when the attendants delivered the king's command, Queen Vashti refused to come. Then the king became furious and burned with anger.
It was customary for the king to consult experts in matters of law and justice. He spoke with the wise men who understood the times and were the closest to the king, the 7 nobles of Persia and Media, who had special access to the king and were highest in the kingdom. According to the law, what must be done to Queen Vashti? He asked. She has not obeyed the commands of King Xerxes, and the servants have taken her to her.
Memucan replied to the presence of the king nobles, Queen Vashti has done wrong, not only against the king but also against all the nobles and the people of the provinces of King Xerxes. For the queen's conduct will become known to all women, so they will despise their husbands and obey King Xerxes' command. Queen Vashti to be brought before him, she would not come. This very day the Persian and Median women of nobility who have heard about the queen's conduct will respond to all king's nobles in the same way. There will be no end of disrespect and discord.
Therefore, if it pleases the king, let him issue a royal decree, and let it be written in the laws of Persia and Media, which cannot be replaced, that Vashti is never again to enter the presence of King Xerxes. Also, let the king give her royal position to someone else who is better than she is. Then, when the king's edict is proclaimed throughout all his vast realm, all the women will respect their husbands from the least to greatest. The king and his nobles were pleased with this advice, so the king did as Memucan proposed. He sent his dispatches to all parts of the kingdom, to each province in his own script, and to each people in their own language, proclaiming that every man should be ruler over his household using his native tongue.